Hey everyone, and welcome to Jessam Graphs. Today, we're going to tackle a huge topic, one that literally affects every single thing you do online. I'm talking about data privacy. Your data, your rights. Let's dive right in.
So, have you ever really stopped to think about what happens after you click agree? We do it all the time, right? We see that huge wall of text, we scroll to the bottom, and we just click, but what happens in that next second? That one little click kicks off a whole process, a chain of events all centered on your personal info. So, what is actually going on behind that screen?
Okay, so to really get a grip on all this, we've got to go back to square one. Let's break down the absolute basics of what data privacy even is.
When you boil it all down, data privacy is really about one thing: control. It's this core principle that you should be in the driver's seat when it comes to your own personal data. And it's not just about secrecy, keeping things hidden. It's about you having a real say in how companies collect your data, how they store it, and what on earth they do with it. Now, this is a super important point, and one where people get mixed up all the time. Privacy is not the same as security. They're related, for sure, but they're different. Think of it like this. Privacy is all about the rules. It answers the who and why. Who gets to see your data, and why are they allowed to? Security, on the other hand, is the how. It's the lock on the door, the encryption, the stuff that actually keeps your data safe from someone who shouldn't have it. You absolutely need both. So why are we talking about this right now? Why does it matter more than ever? Well, it's pretty simple, really. The amount of data we're all creating is just exploding. It's going through the roof. But here's the really concerning part. The teams whose job it is to protect all that data, well, they're actually getting smaller. Yeah, check this out. This is from a recent ISACA report, and it's kind of worrying. The typical size of a privacy team inside a company has dropped from 8 people down to just 5 in a single year. So think about that. The very people who are supposed to be the guardians of our data, there are fewer of them on the job. And it's not just about the total number of people. It's about having the right people. Get this, almost half, 47% of the technical privacy teams say they're understaffed. That means there's a huge skills gap. We're missing the experts, the people who actually know how to build and run the secure systems we all depend on. In this quote, wow, this really hits the nail on the head. It shows this vicious cycle. The report found that when the leaders at a company aren't confident in their own ability to protect their privacy, they're actually more likely to cut the privacy budget. It's a downward spiral where less confidence leads to less funding, which just creates even more risk for all of us. Okay, I know that sounds pretty bad. But don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom. There are actually a lot of smart people and powerful systems working to protect us. There are these layers of defense, ideas, laws, and some really cool tech. Let's take a look. One of the biggest ideas here is something called privacy by design. And it's exactly what it sounds like. Instead of trying to bolt on privacy features at the end, like an afterthought, you build it in from the absolute beginning. It's about being proactive, right? You're trying to stop problems before they even start. It means your privacy should be the default setting, so you're protected automatically. And it means your data is secure through its whole life, from the second it's created to the second it's deleted. And this isn't just a nice idea, it's backed up by some serious legal muscle. The biggest one you've probably heard of is GDPR over in Europe. It's really seen as the gold standard for data protection laws. Why? Because it gives people real enforceable rights. And here's the kicker. It doesn't just apply to European companies. If any company anywhere in the world wants to deal with people in the EU, they have to follow these rules. TAC plays a massive part too. There's this super clever technology called differential privacy. So let's say a company like Apple wants to know how many people use a certain feature. Instead of looking at your exact data, they add a little bit of random noise, just a tiny bit of mathematical fuzziness to everyone's data. The amazing part is, the big picture trend is still accurate, but it's impossible to trace any piece of data back to you. It's like getting useful insights without spying. Pretty cool, right? All right, so we've talked about the problems, we've talked about the solutions, but what does this all actually mean for you? This is the most important part, so let's really focus on what your rights are and what you should walk away with today. Okay, listen up, because this is huge. You have fundamental rights over your data. First, the right to access. You can literally go to a company and say, show me everything you have on me. Second, the right to correction. If you see something that's wrong, you have the right to tell them to fix it. And third, the right to deletion, sometimes called the right to be forgotten. You can, in many situations, tell them to just erase it. It's your data, after all. So if you remember just 3 things from this whole explainer, make it these. Number 1,
Data privacy is all about your right to control your personal info. Number 2, the risks are very real, especially with privacy teams being stretched thin. And number 3, protections are out there. We have laws and technologies fighting on our side to defend those rights.
Hey, if you found this useful and you feel like you understand data privacy a little better now, do me a huge favor and hit that like button, share this with someone who might need it, and of course, subscribe to Jossam Graphs for more explainers just like this one.
And I want to leave you with a question to chew on. As technology like AI gets smarter and becomes part of, well, everything in our lives, what do you think the next big privacy challenge is going to be? What's the one thing we should all be watching out for? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Thanks for watching.